Sure,
It's on?
snack back.
Okay.
This is-
Good afternoon. This is the Conservation Commission meeting of July 10, 2025. First item is calling the meeting to order, which I do. Next is elevational alternatives, alternates, sorry, not alternatives.
It's all right, we know what you're talking about. I got you.
Okay. We don't need the alternatives at this point.
You know, you
I
could
think we have a
go
quorum, we have a quorum, so we're
Okay.
good.
It sounds like mine.
All right.
Here comes Mike.
Next item is approval of minutes, June 5. Very well done as usual. Any comments? Any corrections, any issues?
Move to approve.
All right, second,
Second.
so all in favor?
Maybe I can't. Did you intrude?
That's all right.
She's okay, I'm sorry.
Okay,
Oh, you seconded it then.
Public
She's not-
comment.
yeah.
let's see. Old business, Tim, nice work on your report.
Yeah, I wanted to give something, trying to get it here ahead of time so you could take a look at it. We obviously discussed this at the last meeting, and I guess the gist of it is there's one area high up on the ridge where the worst of the damage is, and it's far from 100% mortality, but there's enough of it that when we're out there, we're looking at an area and just saying, all right, why don't we focus in here, doing a legitimate patch cut, a clear cut, because the oaks that are still alive in there, if you leave them out in the middle of as much as you're gonna be cutting, you're gonna be shocking them, and they're probably gonna die anyway. The beech that's left in there is garbage, the maple's not very good, the aspen's not very good, and it's like, let's just take this area and zip it, have a functioning block of early successional habitat. In the rest of the property is all fairly mature. And then all throughout the rest of the area, it's more of a thinning or very small groups of trees, which the prescription and what we're gonna do really doesn't deviate much from how we would have treated it based in the management plan had we gotten there without gypsy moth damage. It's just the focus in the plan was saying, identifying the areas of poor quality trees or undesirable species. Now you're going to be looking for the dead, dying oaks as well as that other stuff. So, the new access construction, did you call Dig Safe?
Yep.
Okay, because I saw that they came out there after the meeting.
We changed that culvert
Oh,
right there, where you're just up from where you're landing.
okay, so that's why. Because I saw that and I said, oh, that was awful nice of Josh to call Dig Safe for me. But anyway, I don't think we'll have any issue staying above it there. The other nice thing about this is this area of the property, we really haven't had decent access. And as part of this project is going to be developing management access, a short section of road, a good landing, and there's a skid road that's gonna pitch down over the hill towards the lower section that I'm gonna have them take the excavator and cut bank it, so instead of it being side hill and rocky and stumpy coming up, have a real good skid road to bring the wood back up onto the ridge from down below, rather than trying to deal with the loamy road that runs in over on the Pine Barrens. Just stay out of that and not try and run trucks on it and deal with gravel in a great big long section. Instead, just have about 200 feet of gravel we gotta deal with. The economics of it, again, shooting from the hip based on the inventory that we did 10 years ago. Guessing how much volume is there, guessing how the logs are gonna grade out in that. After all expenses, I'm figuring at least $20,000 worth of income to the town between stumpage and timber tax. After all other expenses, plus you get an access bill. I wouldn't be surprised if it was more than that, but I like to be conservative when I tell people what they're gonna get. That's the gist of it. The operator I would like to use is the same one we used up on Everett Parker, using cut to length. The brush getting packed into the skid roads, helping to protect the soil and cycling the nutrients back in as opposed to chipping it. The cut to length harvesting allows you not to have to be dragging whole trees through the woods, so your skid roads particularly in the thinning area where we're just kind of skirting around, grabbing trees here and there, leaving pockets uncut because you're not dragging trees, you're carrying them. You can do 90-degree angles and, you know, meander around like this. But yet it's still mechanized. It allows you to efficiently cut the low grade, move a lot of wood and get it done fairly quickly. Timing, I would like to say probably start September, finish October sometime.
Okay. Sounds
Trying to
good.
do it when, you know, typically that's one of the driest times of the year, get it done before hopefully it starts getting wet, you know, November-ish.
Good.
Any questions from anyone?
I do have one, I mean, obviously there's gonna be damage to the trail, just roughly.
We're gonna cross it in one spot,
Okay,
the hiking trail, that's my intent,
So,
we're only crossing it in one area. I would leave, decent buffers along the trail, from an aesthetic standpoint. Although if there were big dead trees hanging over it, I would try and aim for there to cross it. But, you know, I would say the impact to the trail would just be one skid road and, you know, leave 75-foot of buffer uncut along it, something along that.
great, I just wanted
Yep.
to have an idea what to expect.
No, that
for
was actually- I
reconstructing
forgot
it
to
after
mention
the
that.
fact, yeah.
Okay, that's good.
Tim, you don't have to put this type of work out to bid,
We haven't in the past, no,
just curious.
I mean, we haven't, in the past, I have, there was one job I did for Conway that I did, just because they wanted to, in the Whitaker Woods, but we haven't, no. The problem with putting something like this out to bid is there's so much variability in quality, it's not like it's a known thing, like I want 1.25 inch gravel compacted to this. I mean, you've got different operators, I care more, I mean, I know what a fair value is, and we're gonna get above average value for stumpage. But at the same time, what's more important to me than the money is getting the very best quality work I can get. And that's the variability that you can't account for. You could have someone that'll say, I'll give you 20% more for the value of the wood, but the quality may suffer. And I think from the town's perspective, certainly dealing with you in the past, getting the very best quality work done is more important than, you know, maximizing every dollar out of it. And I guess, how do you all feel? Do you agree with me on that?
100%.
It's just a curiosity.
No, and I mean, I don't know how it would, you know, play out, but we certainly haven't in the past, and we've done quite a few of these over the years. We've always picked and said, this is, you know, how we feel we can get the very best quality work done, and then, you know, I mean, we've always managed to negotiate above average stumpage prices.
Good, thank you.
I think it would be a good idea to update the property survey.
The management plan or the boundary lines?
Well, boundary lines and the management plan as a result
Yeah,
of
the
this.
management plans, were all done in 2016, so, it's typically, they have about a 10-year lifespan, and we've done quite a bit of work, both on Goodwin Burke, Everett Parker, the Old Lot here, so I mean, we've done a bit of work, and so I was thinking that in the next few years, it's probably time, and you don't need to, you know, reinvent the wheel, but just an update to all of them would probably be
You're
a pretty
there,
good
so
idea.
I was figuring that.
Yep. And it would be good because, you know, on the areas where we've done a lot of work,
Right.
you know, the management plan is no longer current because it doesn't describe the conditions as they are now.
Right.
So, you know, some of it still does, like on Blair's location and the Nickerson lots below the dump, we haven't done anything. So, you know, the recommendations would still be the same.
Well, this would be helpful in terms of we're trying to digitize the property descriptions.
Yep,
And we're using your information on a lot of it, particularly the current information that you've supplied. So this would be, because it's such I consider it a major modification of the property.
yep.
So I think that would be
Yeah,
beneficial.
happy to. Like I said, I mean, this would be probably the last of this would be the last of what was covered in the recommendations in the initial plan. You know, we did the work over on the eastern side on Goodwin Burke, running up towards Everett Parker. We did that with Bruce and Dave Boville in
3 years ago, 4 years ago?
2017 or 18.
Really?
Yeah, we went up on Everett Parker in 2021, and Bruce and
Oh my
Dave
God.
cut like 3 years before that. I know, time flies.
It does.
Yeah, so, anyway, anything else?
No,
Do we need a motion?
let's make a motion to.
Yeah.
I'll make a motion to allow Tim to move forward with what's proposed on this Washington 4th Street plan.
Okay, oh, and one other thing, the switchback corner, to the lake side of, on Lead Mine Road, on the lake side of where we're going in, on the Nature Conservancy side of the road, there's 4 trees that we're gonna have to cut, pop the stumps that are right up against, like the gravel is right against these trees. Gonna need to get those stumps out and add probably a load or two of gravel on that corner, just to make the corner negotiable by, tractor trailer trucks. And we looked into, because the Nature Conservancy has a Forest Legacy easement on their property, when I talked to Jeff, he was like, well, you know, if they're technically on our land, we would need to run it by them, but, you know, because the town's right of, we're not, it's not a right of way because it's a class 5 road, the town's ownership there appears to be based on the stone walls further up the road, is 3 rods, 49.5 feet, so that's 29.75 or whatever, or 24.75 feet from the center line. And the trees are well within that, they're at like 19 feet, 18, 19 feet. So we don't have to worry about that because the trees are within the town's ownership right off the center line of the road. So that was good to not have to address any of that. And I called him and told him, and he said the same thing. He's like, as long as you're comfortable documenting that, and we measured it up by on the other end of Lead Mine where there are 2 stone walls, so. The assumption is.
It's 3 rods.
Yeah, the assumption is the width carries through the whole length of it, it's all the same road. So I will need to work with you when it comes time to do that. I mean, they'll cut the trees down with the buncher and that, but we'll have to stump them right there on the side.
Can I ask a question?
Yep.
Will there be road closures or will it impact lead mine for travel?
The only closure I would say would be when we're like cutting the trees right in the road there, and stumping at the corner, and that would be very short.
Right.
And then, you know, maybe for having someone flagging traffic when we're building the new road up in and excavating like right in the ditch line, but again, like, you know, for an hour having someone watch traffic. But once the job is going, I would just have signage up on both sides of it saying caution, you know, log trucks using roadway. But no, I wouldn't say that any closure beyond just those little bits of time.
Okay, great, thank you.
So, I guess a motion to have you
Yeah, we
go
have a motion on
forward
the
with
floor.
that.
Okay.
I second it.
And we
Yes.
just need to vote on it.
Yes, all in favor?
Okay.
All right, well, I will, start working on making it happen, and I will probably come to the August meeting, with an update. And speaking of August and other business, is what week is Old Home Week, and when do we want to have the trails dressed up and the mowing done by?
The Old Home Week starts Saturday the 2nd.
So it's the first week, not the
Yeah.
second week, okay?
Always starts on the first Saturday.
All right, well, I will get all the hiking trails and the woods roads
Right.
and
Right.
hopefully the field at World, mowed prior to Old Home Week.
Okay,
So
we occasionally skip August, for the meeting, not the month, but the
We
meeting.
can skip the month.
Are you going to?
I don't know.
We haven't, that was under our, to talk about tonight.
Well, I guess let me know if you're gonna skip it. so
Well-
I don't show up.
I said, because you almost didn't show up tonight, right? You almost came last week, so I said, no,
Yeah.
you're gonna be here tonight.
I was
All right.
fully prepared to be here on the third. It's a good thing I would have been if she hadn't emailed me.
Well, your information is important, so we may opt.
Well,
opt for
dependent.
Yeah, I tell you what, I will email you kind of updates as I go, and if I feel it's important to deal with something at a meeting, we'll let you know.
Okay, that
We'll go
sounds
from
good.
there.
Sounds,
But it may be something that we can just handle, like information being put out over an email to
So
everyone.
we
All right.
have one? Or we-
Ralph?
What did we decide?
Is, Mark doing a hike this year?
Didn't say.
he's not here, but I think we ought to make a request that he do it.
I
Send him
just
an
was
email.
curious, you know, it might,
If he's
Whatever
not
the-
here, I'd volunteer him to do it. Yeah, that's right.
I'll email him tomorrow. I'll be here tomorrow
Okay.
about hike. So now, what
Okay.
did we do about the August 7th? I missed that, I'm sorry. Are we staying on, are we?
Were you thinking about the hike being here to,
no, I just didn't know, he was talking about mowing trails.
I always do the Woldot trails, the bog brook, or the loop trail around the bog and the Jackman Ridge Trail. I get those, opened up, leaf blown, brush sawed, as well as mow the woods roads, landings over there on Goodwin Burke, and then try and get the field over at Woldot mowed ahead of, just right before Old Home Week, so
No,
it
I'm
doesn't
just
have a
curious
chance to go back.
Usually Ralph is mentioning where they were gonna do a hike or something, and
Right. Good. Thank you for reminding me. All right, so we need to decide, we should decide as to whether or not we want to have a meeting. Is there a pressing need?
Maybe we could schedule it and then cancel it.
Prefer not to do that. I prefer to just, yes,
Well, we're
yes or
gonna
no.
have to meet again with
Well,
Cordell.
Given what we have up in the air with,
Right,
Yeah.
with,
Cordell.
yeah.
the
Well,
Crow property,
Yep.
I would leave it on the schedule.
Yep.
All right, all right, I'll ask for a vote. Everybody okay with August? Everybody?
All
All
right,
right.
so I'll plan on seeing you here then. If you do end up canceling it, please let me know.
Okay,
All right?
thank you.
So we're saying first
Have a good
Thursday.
evening, all.
All right.
Thanks, Tim.
Yep.
Jada Ponds
Done.
update. We had a meeting, or a non-meeting with our attorney. We are in the process of negotiating the terms. We're promptly gonna have a few comments that we're making to the draft agreement, and the discussions are underway. Property review commitments, I think we've covered just about everything on that. So, and we just added Goodwin back to the list in terms of an update, so I think that should work just fine, and keeping our information current and all that's beneficial. Okay, Agent?
So I'm here tonight representing the Master Plan Steering Committee. You probably know that Madison is updating its master plan. And right now, there's a steering committee that is, kind of being led by different town leaders. So we've all been assigned to reach out to different groups, and I was asked to reach out to conservation groups. So you're the first committee that I'm reaching out to, but I have some others in mind. I have some printouts here. What I've been asked to do is get some insight and input on what your vision for the master plan is. And if I remember correctly, you already worked on some updates, for the master plan.
Pretty substantial amount of work has been done.
Yes, I thought so. But I thought I would still come tonight with these, visioning prompts. The first page is more or less just like a brainstorming activity to guide you on the next page. And this is probably gonna be redundant if you've already worked on, your short-term and long-term projects and goals, but I thought I'd bring it before you anyway to see if maybe, there was something else that came.
Is this just for conservation, or is it, how about the whole?
This is for the whole master plan itself, so if, it doesn't have to be for just conservation.
Okay.
I am trying to gain insight from conservation groups, but this visioning prompt is really for the whole master plan itself.
Okay,
So we are trying to kind of get these questions answered by October. So if you want me to just relay sort of an update to the group, like, we've already done this and it's in draft form, or I don't really know where it stands at all the work you guys have done on it now, but at some point, I would like to just relay back to the group that this is where Conservation Commission is as far as their vision goes. And then I'll just point out behind, if you haven't seen it yet, behind you on the table, there is a survey that we're trying to get everyone to complete. And that's more from just you're an individual, you're a taxpayer, you live in Madison, that's just sort of like gaining insight from you as an individual. The visioning prompt is more from the Conservation Commission as a group.
okay.
So I thought I would just deliver these over and kind of get the ball rolling on that. If you want me to bring any information back to the committee, we'll meet again in August.
Can we go back in time 25 years? And that's the vision to go?
That's what they're
Yeah.
looking for,
Yeah.
exactly.
And maybe,
That's what my answer was. How do you
Yeah.
see it 20 years from now, like it was 20 years ago?
yeah, right, and
Well,
that's fine, I mean,
Back when
that's,
times were better.
Well, I think
Simpler.
for a plan to be realistic, it's a shorter term kind of view. And I would say the limit is like 10 years, like what do you wanna accomplish in a 10-year time frame? And it so happens that's coincidental with supposedly the time for a new master plan. So the energy that we have, or should have, is really focused on that time frame, as opposed to, is there a supermarket going up around the corner or something like that, and what do we need to deal with that kind of thing? So it's really matter of fact kind of things that I'd be looking for in terms of, basically, what can we afford to do? Tax rate issues, what's the growth? Is the school system adequate for the population? Probably is. Conway has closed 2 schools. So it's that kind of thing, building on really what we think is something that is important for action, corrective action or mediation or whatever. The other thing too is the assets that we have here. What needs to be replaced, and what condition do we need to improve the asset base by anything like, particularly highway equipment, things of that nature.
yeah,
So, I'm looking for tangible things that are considered action items.
and I will say, if you take the survey, some of the questions are more geared to that, like, where do you wanna see Madison in 10 years? And what do you feel Madison does best, what do you feel Madison needs work on, so. I would encourage all of you to take the survey, and then, where does your updated plan stand? Is it still
Pretty
in
good shape.
draft form, or?
It's been very thoroughly done, but it was last year that we said, given the fact that we have chain of ponds
Right.
that why issue a master plan that omits a major project, a major addition? So the thought process is to get through Chain of Ponds before we do another installment, because that changes a lot of things for us in terms of, it's probably, well, it is a very large addition to properties under our easement or what we own. So it's gonna represent some significant changes in what our plans are for the future as a result of this significant addition.
Yeah.
So we've shelved it for the time being, but it is substantially done. You know, if you said it was 2024, we could probably issue it with maybe some minor modifications.
What is the time frame, Asia, on when it's all gonna be done, or what's the plan for the?
I think it's been pushed back a little bit because there was some interest in engaging with the North Country Council. So if they come in and get involved, and they're presenting at the August meeting, about how they can help the town, with the master plan, but if they get involved, I think things will kinda get pushed back more because they'll have more projects and more events and things that will, so I don't know the exact timeline for when. I don't know if Michael knows any more than I do. I haven't been to all of the meetings. But I do know that the North Country Council, they suggested that we add a couple parts to our conservation section in the master plan, because we didn't really have a natural resources section, so they suggested adding that. And I don't have it in front of me, I think there was another suggestion for another section to be added under conservation, so it's just a thought on.
Okay.
But perhaps when you go back to the table and you're working on another draft or another version of what you've already done, some of these prompts would be
Okay,
helpful.
definitely helpful, that's for sure.
Does Madison have a representative on the North Country Council?
We're not members,
Not a
no,
member.
but I think they were willing to step in. And then there was some question of whether, are we Lakes Region or are we North Country, but I think we're.
We've always been North Country, right
Yeah.
on the border, and then you go any town south of here is.
Right,
is
we're,
Lakes
cause
Region.
we're right, yeah. right there. That's what I thought. Yeah.
Good. Very well,
Well,
Thank
thank you for
Thank you.
listening, and please take that survey. Oh, and are you guys gonna do a wildlife presentation for Old Home Week this year?
It's on the books.
Okay, great, those are fun to film.
I'll be there with my
Do you
friends.
think it'll be at the firehouse?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
it's after.
it will be.
Okay.
Touch a truck. I'll see you there.
Okay.
We'll have a little table set up.
Alright, thanks everyone.
You can come up and film the bowl anytime you want for a while.
Is he still in your backyard? Yeah. Pesky bull. Alright, have a nice night.
You too.
okay. Rick is not here, Mark is not here. Administrative correspondence, anything?
Nope.
Mark is the chair of the committee.
Oh, okay.
August 7th, we've covered. Account balances, no real material changes. Just minor interest income, not much. With that,
We don't adjourn yet because we gotta talk about, Marcia's got a doodad for me today.
Well, I
Which
do,
might-
and I just
They saved it for me.
see if you think it's appropriate. I said, please support with your contribution the conservation and environmental educational opportunities for Madison youth.
perfect,
That'll go on, I
Right.
will attach it to there,
sounds
not
great.
permanent.
That's okay?
Very nice,
Thank
very
you.
nice, thank you.
Everybody all right with that?
Yeah, neat.
Good.
Do you wanna, need to,
I think I'll copy them, I've changed this 6 times, so I'll
Okay.
just give you a new one.
okay, so you'll get me a new one.
Very good.
There you go.
Make
And
a
I'm gonna
motion.
also get some, gonna set up a little table with the wildlife thing, I'm gonna have that on there, and I found some really cool wildlife, vinyl stickers, they're not expensive, I think it's $11. And they're very, very cool, and I'm gonna spread them out on the table, so,
Okay.
So
let me know what
anyone
I'm
who
doing.
gives a contribution can get a sticker?
There you go, they're water bottle stickers, so, and that'll be my contribution, I'm gonna pay for those, so, cause I like them.
Very nice, very good. Okay, make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? Yes. Okay.
Thank you.